Hey everyone, it's Man, and welcome to another video game review. This time I'm going to be reviewing the action platformer from Traxmaster Games, Exception. So, Exception is a pretty straightforward game. It's trying to harken back to some of those arcade classics where you really just run around and you whack things with a stick and do some platforming, and that's really all there is to it. You can also tell this with its story. It does have a story. It's mainly just there, though. The main thing is that there is a grandma with a computer, and she's one of the most dumbest grandmas I've ever seen. And she downloads a virus, and you play as a thread, as they're called, in this computer system, and you're basically going around trying to take care of the virus. And that's really all there is to it. The story is told through comic book panels, and it's okay. It's really just there to give context to what's going on screen, and to further drive the point home, even the game lets you skip the story as you complete each world. So that's really not what this game is about. It's all about its gameplay. Before I do get to the gameplay, though, I do want to talk about a couple other small things. So the visuals themselves, it's a very colorful game, as you can see, and I do appreciate that. And some of the backgrounds are kind of nice. Overall, though, I do think that some of the enemy designs and even your character design is a bit bland. The music is also there. It's pretty loud. This is kind of a loud game, to be honest. But the music is nice. I don't think anything really stands out, but it does its job. It sets the tone for what it's trying to go for. And with all that said, I'll get into the gameplay. The first thing I want to talk about is that there are some pretty interesting levels. There's 16 worlds total. I think there's 128 levels in all. And each world does feel unique and different. I like a lot of the level layouts, and some of them are pretty challenging. The main thing you're doing is basically going through each level, just trying to get to the end, whacking enemies. You can also alter the levels. That's this game's big thing, is you can find nodes that'll flip the world around and let you get to places you couldn't get to before. And different levels have different gimmicks as well. And some of that actually works pretty well. There's a few worlds I really did enjoy. But with all that being said, the actual gameplay itself is not great. This game is all about speed. It is very arcadey in that you are trying to get from point A to point B as fast as you can. The main problem is that the jump is way too floaty. And there's also a lot of input delay. Like, there's a good amount of input delay that you have to go through to try and make a lot of these jumps. And it just really hurts the flow of the game because it's just hard to control your character as you're jumping, so you'll often overshoot things a lot, basically. You can gain abilities as you progress through the game. At the end of each level, you're granted a star rating, and the more stars you get, the more upgrades you can get. And the upgrades, they're not great. None of them are really satisfying. I don't even think you need them, to be honest. I got through most of the levels just using the base jump, sprint, and slashing. Some of the upgrades include like a dive kick, so you can get down places faster. You can also throw your weapon in the 4 cardinal directions. And yeah, you don't even really need them. You can also upgrade your abilities. In each level, there is a thing called a bite. It's kind of like just a blue chip, and you spend those to upgrade your abilities. But a lot of the blue chips are out of the way, and honestly, by near about halfway of the game, I just decided to skip it entirely because honestly, the upgrades aren't worth it. And as I keep saying, the abilities aren't even that fun to use. And also near the end of the game, along with your floaty jump and just a lot of other things in general, a lot of the end game does feel cheap. Like, you will get to a lot of cheap deaths in this game, and that's just not fun for anybody. Um, the one other thing I did want to talk about is the bosses. There are a couple bosses that I did find pretty cool, although I will admit that a lot of the bosses are just kind of bland overall. And yeah, so that is pretty much it for my review. I think that's everything I have in my notes. So now I'll get into my final thoughts. So overall, I kind of just think Exception is a bad game, to be perfectly honest. I was going to say it's average, but the more I thought about it, the more I came to realize that while there is stuff to like about this game and there is some good in it, the frustration of actually trying to play this game and trying to overcome all its shortcomings just don't, like, it just outweighs the good. So yeah, I just think it's a bad game, and it is $15, so it's pretty cheap. But honestly, I would wait for this to be free at some point if you are interested in picking it up, which I don't recommend you do, but to each their own. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for my review. So if you liked what you've seen, you can go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more game reviews, some streams, and all the good gaming stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.